Thank you for your partnership. They come at the drop of the hat. So they've been with us nonstop since yesterday, and we wouldn't be here without their partnership. So again, as we take a moment to talk about the arrests of these defendants, and we talk about the sad and tragic circumstances surrounding the murders of two brave and patriotic citizens. We'll get into the details, and a lot of questions are still a lot of answers are still being developed to some of the questions that you may have, but we'll tell you all that we can tell you. This horrific incident has generated attention regionally and nationally, and quite frankly, when two veterans, when two service members are gunned down in a neighborhood in our country, it should generate attention. Anytime someone loses a life and has their life taken for no apparent reason, it should generate this level of attention in any community, anywhere in Fairfax County or elsewhere. So thank everyone for their hard work. I'm going to bring Major Ed O'Carroll to the lectern, and he'll go over some facts and circumstances, and then we'll stand ready to answer several questions.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that. And thank you, Commander, for your support of your team. I, too, once again want to extend my deepest condolences to the McDaniel family, friends, neighbors, our community, and members of the United States Army family. What a tragedy, a preventable tragedy. As I previously shared, I am Major Ed O'Carroll, Bureau Commander of the Major Crimes, Cyber, and Forensics team here at the Fairfax County, Virginia Police Department. Hard work, long hours, amazing first responders, and a supportive and engaged community. We have an arrest. We actually have 2 arrests, as the Chief mentioned. A total of 8 felony charges have been placed today for the vicious murders of our American heroes, the McDaniels. Great job by Team Fairfax County Police, along with personnel from the United States Marshal Service. Again, Commander, thank you. But I do want to share with you how things unfolded from yesterday morning. As you may already know, we were called yesterday morning at 9:20 hours to the 8000 block of Flint Street in Springfield. Our detectives have worked diligently to follow up on every single lead and all the evidence in the case. Last night, the Chief and I came before you to share information that we had on confirmation of a vehicle that we know fled the scene of the murders. That message was shared by many members of the public, and we want to thank you. The positive power of social media. This morning, Thursday morning, shortly after 7:20 hours this morning, we received yet another community tip that vehicle that we had all been looking for was at a business in Lorton, Virginia. Patrol officers and officers assigned to our Special Operations Division rapidly responded and located the white Nissan vehicle, and we ultimately located the operator of that vehicle. He was taken into custody. Homicide detectives responded to assume the investigation. That vehicle was seized and remains in our custody and is considered evidence in this case. Ultimately, as the Chief outlined, D'Angelo Strand, 19 years old, of Fort Washington, Maryland, has been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. Later this afternoon, or shortly after 1 p.m., we, the Fairfax County Police Department, shared with you, our media outlets, and ultimately our community via our social media platforms, that we had an active murder arrest warrant for Ronnie Marshall, 20, in connection with yesterday's tragedy. As we were continuing to work this morning's developments, and then shortly after 2 o'clock, alert law enforcement officers both from the Fairfax County Police Department and the United States Marshal Service, were in the area of Jana Lee Avenue and Richmond Highway in the Alexandria area of Fairfax County. They spotted Ronnie Marshall. Police officers, detectives, and agents from the United States Marshal Service moved in and took Ronnie Marshall into custody. He too was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. Our work continues, and no doubt it will for some time. We have the best detectives on this case. We're also working with detectives from the cyber and forensics team, using all the latest technology and science to assist us with this case. I too, like the chief, would like to thank the officers who attempted life-saving efforts yesterday morning, and those who ran towards danger, and to those that have worked around the clock, to all the detectives, the analysts, patrol officers, and victim service specialists, all assigned to this very important case. But truly, all of our cases are important. And in closing, I do want to ask one thing of our community. If you know anything about this case and we have not yet spoken to you, please connect with us. If you have any information that can aid us in this ongoing investigation, no matter how small, or even if you feel it might be insignificant, my detectives want to hear from you. You can remain anonymous. Please call the Major Crimes Bureau at 703-246-7800. That's 703-246-7800, or the Fairfax County Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS. And I'll take any questions if you have any, both myself and the chief.
You say a relative of the victims was involved in this. I know the couple had one son, a 19-year-old. Is it him? And if so, what could this person be charged with?
Yes, I will answer that. The occupant, let me give a clarifying answer. There were 2 people involved in this crime. We have them in custody. Their new location is the Fairfax County Adult Detention Center. There are 2 people responsible for this heinous and vicious crime, and they're in custody. There were 2 occupants in the home. I spoke of them yesterday. We have no information they were outside or involved in this incident. Thanks to the community, we got our offenders.
The occupants in the house, were they relatives of the 2 victims?
So there were 2 occupants in the home. One of those individuals was a relative of the 2 deceased, the McDaniels. Yes.
Chief, if we could ask you a question, sir. You said something that certainly is alarming, in that apparently these 2 suspects, or one of them, worked with a relative of the McDaniels?
So, Jackie, yes, the relative, and we're only going so far as to describe the person as a relative right now. I hear your question, Sierra, but we're going to describe him right now as a relative. And the relative of the 2 victims worked with our 2 killers. So, and
A workplace dispute?
well, we're very interested in knowing the exact nature of the dispute, so we're working really hard to figure out what that is. But as of now, the motive is a dispute. We're working hard to figure out what it was all about, but it harkens back to Monday, and we know at least one of our 2 defendants was at the home on Monday. So we believe that the tragic double murder yesterday was a follow-up and related to the interactions that occurred on Monday. And we responded to that call for service, and we were conducting an active burglary investigation that started from Monday, and on Wednesday, that's when this tragedy occurred.
Do you know if the 2 victims, were they drawn outside? Were they already outside when this occurred? Did they know these suspects were outside?
So I'll say it, and Major, you can talk to me later if I give up too much. The 2 victims were outside. We don't know the last time they were inside, but then when they were shot and killed in their front yard, We believe they had been outside for just a little bit. It was asked yesterday if they were on a walk or not. We don't know that yet. We're certainly interested in finding that out with definitively. But we know they were outside. They had probably been outside for just a little bit, and there were two occupants inside the home. One of the occupants inside the home called 911 when he saw the suspect or suspects, and then the suspects confronted our two victims in the front yard.
Just to be clear, were they already outside before the two suspects showed up?
We believe so.
And is it believed that they have the same charges? Were both of these gentlemen armed, and is it believed that both of them fired?
Yeah, so that is a great question. We want the answer to that. That's why we've talked to a lot of witnesses. A lot of people have come forward. As the chief said, we've had great community support, and in large part because of you, our media outlets who are telling this story. This is a tragedy. We made a commitment that we would make an arrest, and we didn't make one, we made two, both responsible for this vicious crime. As of this moment, we have not located the firearm, but we have a lot of work to do. I mentioned the vehicle that's now in our possession. We got a lot of things to follow up on. We want that firearm, again, that's why this case is not closed with these two arrests and these multiple charges. In some aspects, it's just beginning.
Were these two suspects known to you as far as previous arrests?
I do not know. That as this unfolded throughout the day, you can imagine with all the officers and frankly our community looking for that vehicle throughout the night and looking for and thankfully again that tip came in that led to the vehicle, which led to the first arrest this morning. We had received an arrest warrant, probable cause. Our detective had received an arrest warrant, and that's why at that 1 o'clock hour we announced that this second person was Fairfax County's most wanted. And again, with partnerships like with the United States Marshal Service, both of these individuals in custody, our community in Springfield and Fairfax County can rest assured that these two are off the street.
Guys, do two more. Clarification. Did you say the 911 call came before the shots were fired or in response to the shots being fired?
Yeah, we have not spoken on the cadence there, and I'm not aware of the timing of the two. But our call came in at 9:20 hours yesterday morning, and as I previously said, and I think it really speaks volumes in this case of what a great police department this is. Our officers were on the scene within 2 minutes. 2 minutes, they having been on the scene like the chief, and this is a tragedy. They looked for those suspects, they looked for other victims, gave that emergency first aid, did a lot of things in short order. And again, once we got confirmation on that plate, we knew it was critical to tell the community that this vehicle, like I said last night, was at that scene. And we have that vehicle in evidence. Search warrants and those sorts of things will allow us to look through it. And again, that's why I said this case is really ramping up with these two arrests. I think there's one more question.
Can you tell us where the suspects all work together?
I'm not in a position to share that. That is part of our investigation. We had detectives at that location today. I would say, although that is a commonality, I do not believe, nor do my detectives believe, that workplace was directly relevant to the murders. I think the commonality is they worked there, but I do not believe that maybe that their role at that business played into these murders. Thank you for being here and sharing our message. I'll say it one last time. If anyone has information, please contact us. I don't want the community to think because we have made these arrests that our investigation concludes. We have even more detectives on the case following up on all the leads. Anyone with information, contact us somehow. You can call us at 703-246-7800. On behalf of the Marshal Service, the Police Chief, the Fairfax County Police Department, again, our condolences to the McDaniel family. Thank you.